Hi, everyone. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Hi.
Hi. So let's slowly get started. I will introduce myself and then I will jump into the presentation. So my name is Anna, and I have been for 14 years sales and marketing leader in healthcare, medical devices, and personal protective equipment. So I'm coming from a background that is quite extensively sales related. And through the years, I gathered a few tips that I wanted to share today. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Please feel free to stop me at any time and ask questions. I will gladly answer them. And with that, let's get started. I hope that my presentation flows. If not, I will try to explain to you verbally. So first thing that we will cover is agenda, of course. We'll start about why do we need networking to begin with, and how to do it will be our second part of the conversation. We will talk about who to target with your business development efforts and networking, and we will talk about how to do this in the right way, and then a couple of tips to end our discussion, and of course questions. So firstly, what I wanted to say is that it's very, very important to realize for any company that we are all working in sales, whether your title says so or not. The truth of the matter is that we're all sales, and this is the only way for any company to survive, right? So and with that in mind, I will tell you a funny story to realize how important this understanding is. So I had a customer which was in UK, and they have requested us to provide some equipment for their fire trucks. And we agreed to these conditions, and suddenly, when we won the tender, our marketing manager realized that this might be difficult. So she told me, and we started the discussion. I understood that she is actually talking about saving money for the company because she was afraid that the product can be damaged, and she was worried about this. Now, the problem was that the UK fire trucks, they could not accommodate the size any bigger than what we have agreed on. And I told her, look, I know that you're trying to do your best thing, but unfortunately, the fire trucks are not getting any bigger, yeah? So once she understood the customer point of view, that it's actually a certain fire truck that we need to fit our equipment into, she realized what the issue was. So we did figure it out successfully, but this mentality of everyone in sales is really important. You need to understand that, and you need to really keep it in mind every time you talk to anybody. Now, let me see if I can share my screen now. This threw me a little bit. No, still cannot. Okay, let's try to do it verbally. So why is networking important? Let's talk about that. Firstly, it means as an entrepreneur, of course, what you need is working capital and you need funding. And of course, if you can network successfully, this leads to a higher chance of you being funded. And this is a struggle of a lot of startups, right? Also, you need suppliers. So your ability to network with the right people and negotiate right deals for your company makes a big difference. It also allows you to attract the best employees. And this, we know, all of us, we have been in that situation where you would get a recommendation to hire someone, and you would do so and you'd be happy with the outcome. Also, fresh market trends, and like what for me personally is really important is that I think that keeping in touch with other people in the industry to gain the information that they have and share as well is important. And finally, most importantly, what was said before, everything is about sales, and of course, networking gives you the opportunities that are much better. So I will give probably two most important points right away. The key to networking is definitely active listening. So we will cover that in more detail, but I want you to keep in mind. And the second point is sincerity. I personally have been in this corporate environment for 14 years, and I can tell you one thing: people are not stupid. They can always sense if someone is being genuine or not. So if you don't have anything genuine you want to say, don't say anything at all. Because if you come across as false, people will reject the message, and you don't want that. So really be sincere, speak from the heart. That's the most important thing to remember when networking. Now, who to network with? So here I would lead to an exercise that we would like to do, and talk about how do we think about networking in a structured way. So we start from a simple thing: is what is it that we want to do from the business point of view? So what is the strategy? What are we trying to offer to our customers? And understanding that will of course tell you the next important thing is who do we target? Who are the people that we want to talk to and why? So we will cover this today, actually. We will talk about the importance of networking and also the reasons and how to do it correctly. Sorry guys, it's really difficult because I couldn't put the screen. Can you see it now? Can I have an answer from somebody? Okay, cool. So
Yes.
Let's get moving then. I will not be able to see comments as I'm presenting. I don't have the second screen. So please, if you want to ask a question, do ask it please while unmuting yourself and asking it directly. I would really appreciate that. So anyway, what we said is that, of course, what is your mission? What is your strategy? And who do you want to target? Normally, in marketing, we talk about marketing personas, and I think that is something that is important. So as a small company, you maybe think, look, I will sell to so many different people. How do I know a specific person that I want to target? Well, to begin with, just imagine who would need your product. And that will develop with time, and you will have more and more information. But to start with, who would you like to talk to with your product? Is this women or men or both? Is that kids? Is that older generation people? What kind of job titles do these people hold? Their education level, and of course interests, especially interests. That is something that's really valuable. If you know what they're interested in, that will help you a lot. Family status as well. Now, let's imagine a scenario, right? I am now starting my own business, like you, and the business is going to be focused on marketing strategy. So from the business point of view, I have most value to offer in the medical field. So as marketing agency, who do I want to talk to? Well, I want to talk to senior marketing professionals in pharmaceutical and healthcare industries, be that women or men, doesn't matter. They are probably not very young. They're probably like 27 and up. These are the people who are interested in recent healthcare technologies, and they are probably participating in pharmaceutical and medical conferences. And these are the people that I would target. So this is my customer persona, right? Now, the job is for you to think about who is your customer persona. And in this kind of structured way, to try and draft that person. The more realistically you can do that, the better you will know who to target. More and more details will come at later stages, but at least starting from the beginning, right? What is the type of person I want to talk to? That's very important, because you cannot connect to everyone. You cannot network with the whole world. LinkedIn is trying to do that, and actually it's very useful, true, but it's a huge job to do by yourself. So let's focus on something and make sure that we're networking with those people that we really want to talk to. Now, where to find them? I would say that first and foremost is references. Some of us are lucky to be well connected, some others are not. However, and this is where LinkedIn comes in handy, is that we are all maybe 1 or 2 connections away from the person that we want to meet. And that means that if we put a little bit of effort, actually we're much more connected than we think. And it's really about thinking a little. So I need to get to know this type of people who in my circle of friends and family knows somebody. Get introduced to them. Then from then on, you will already have one person who is representative of the people group that you would like to connect to, and who can introduce you also to them, to others. And this is how it works. It's a kind of a butterfly effect, right? Where the more you meet people, the more connections you will have in the relevant field. So when you think about, oh, I don't have much in terms of connections to family and friends, think again, you still probably know someone who knows someone, and that's important. Another great way is classes and seminars. If you are starting your business, you probably will need to learn a few things, let's be honest. Be that finance, be that marketing, be that sales. This is what brought you here today, right? So networking is about that, is meeting people who are interested in the same thing that you are. And classes and seminars, great way to do that. You learn and you also network. I have to say that my idea of my business was born through Astrolabs. I came to a course which I thought would be a good value added for my expertise in marketing. And what I found is that actually I can build a business around it. And that was really exciting for me. But again, 2 heads are better than 1. So when you are together in class and you're networking, ideas come out and you make a good friend, basically. Now, another way is professional groups and associations. As I said, it's very, very important to make sure that you are sincere in the conversation. So if you really are interested in a certain topic and you are building a business around it, meaning you are really passionate about this, definitely connect to professional groups and associations. These are the people that share the same exact topic that you do, and they feel about it in a probably passionate way like you do. And hence, it's a really good way to meet people with the same ideas and talk to them and learn from them. Another important source today, especially after Corona, is of course social media. If I ask you who has met a really good customer from social media, I will for sure find a few people that answer yes, we have. I have, and my former employer had for sure, and this is something that will only grow. Of course, one of the greatest tools is LinkedIn. I have mentioned it a few times. I will mention it again. Do keep an updated profile. Absolutely. Just please make sure you have professional photo on the LinkedIn profile. Small thing, maybe, but it's important. So, you know, no cats, no dogs, no kids. You in a professional attire on a white background, that makes the right impression. But it really gives you a huge opportunity. We really are all 2 connections away from somebody we really would like to meet. So keeping that in mind, LinkedIn, really good. Firstly, it's information. You will get articles, you will get latest conversations about the topic that you want and the connections. So this is really a good way to network. Industry events. So for me, for many years, I was always participating in Arab Health, which is here in the Middle East is the biggest healthcare oriented show. And you always come out knowing a lot of new people, and that's a great thing. Again, they share the same passion as you, so you already have something to talk about. And then the toughest part probably is cold calls and emails. So if you really, really want to know someone, you're sure that you can be of help and they can be of help to you, it might be that you will need to do some cold calls and emails. So for that, it's tough. We all know that it's not easy at all. I will, however, give you an example when it works. On LinkedIn, I had this situation where I found the customer online and we connected through LinkedIn. I did a cold email on LinkedIn and he did react positively. And actually people do try to help because it is a professional environment. And if you indeed are offering something of value, they will respond to you. Again, maybe out of 10, you will get 2 responses, but that's better than no responses at all, okay? So that's on the where to find the people that you want to meet. So what I would suggest is this. We discussed about who we want to target with our networking activities and where to find them. Now, ideally, if we were face-to-face, I would ask you to break in groups and talk to each other and brainstorm a little bit. We don't have that opportunity. However, I will give you 5 minutes to think about this for yourself. Just think about how my strategy reflects on the audience, meaning what is the type of people I should be talking to. And then from this type of people, where could you find them? And then your plan of attack, meaning value proposition, basically. Yeah. So what is it for them that I'm trying to offer? What's the difference? What is my value added in this conversation? So think about it for 5 minutes, and then I would love to have a couple of volunteers. Okay. So now it's 5:18. Let's do this till 5:23 and then discuss it. I hope that we get a couple of volunteers willing to share. In the meantime, do you have any questions?
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi, this is Nagendra. See, now most of these, business, they have become commoditized. I
Yeah.
mean, whatever you take, there is a competition and there is always somebody who can say, I am better. I mean, it's all standard language, right? We are better, we are cheaper, we are faster.
In a way, yes, but then again, it's like, I believe personally in this. As people, we're all unique, right? So we have different appearance, we have different character, and we like different things. That's the beauty of it. It's the same with the company. If you are doing something, you have a reason to be doing it. So yes, it seems commoditized. I will give you an example. I mean, I'm coming from primarily surgical gloves. If you look at this product from the point of view of commoditization, like you are saying, it's just a piece of latex, okay? Reality is not like that. Reality is that a surgeon wears this every day, all day, and it impacts his or her ability to perform a surgery correctly and timely. So in fact, the value added is huge, but it's just a piece of latex. So I would say it's the same with commoditization. Just think for yourself, what is it that you personally bring to the table? And there is something. Everyone has their own value that they can add, and to any business. Might be small business, might be big business, might be commoditized, might be very special, but there is always something. And it might be just because you are able to speak the language of the people that you want to target. Sometimes it's just that. Like a lot of businesses exist on simple premise of shipping from one country to another where they do not have that type of product. And this is how, for instance, imagine grocery business, right? Like tomatoes. So every country has tomatoes now. But in the past times, that was not possible because of this commoditized product, and nobody even thought about it. But yes, it started to import into another country. So somebody made a lot of money with that.
Sure. So I just wanted to understand the, yeah, yes, if something is unique, like, yeah, Facebook when it came or WhatsApp when it came, I understand it may sell itself. There is really something unique in that context. But, over a period of time, everything becomes a commodity, and
Yeah,
majority of the companies have to compete with the majority, commodity thinking. Because, like you said, maybe doctor may watch, because he is the consumer, but the decision maker, the finance guy who is supposed to take a decision, he will say that, yeah, I have another 10 other fellows who are offering me at a cheaper price.
yeah, and that
Because
will always happen. And some people will go for
now,
it,
in
some
that
not.
context, I wanted to ask you, what is a better approach? Is it that we should invest on uniqueness of the product, or do we need to invest on, I think, yeah, a relationship with the, people, decision makers, so that,
But
yeah, so
see, this is
everybody
this
has
is
a
the question for your audience, right? It's like, what does your type of consumer look for? Some look for unique, some look for cheaper price, but that's also value added. You can say, hey, I'm saving you a lot of money. That's a valid answer. That's a value added.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's just about really knowing your customer. Like for me, for instance, I have a very specific target audience, which is medical. Is it everyone? No, it's not. But if you're, for instance, selling shoes, I bet all women would be interested in having great style for cheap. You know, I would buy. So would the many other women and girls, right? But you understood me. What I mean is really, it's about your target audience. Who do you want to talk to?
Sure.
So our time is up. Do we have a volunteer to talk about their networking effort? Come on, someone.
Hello. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
My name is Jessie Rebecca, and I own a bridal boutique called Rebecca's Bespoke. I do network a lot, both online and, of course, before the pandemic, with networking events.
Right.
So, beginning from the women's networking events to leadership conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And what is really important is to be regular at these networking
Yeah.
events. You can go to one association or one particular type of event and then visit the same event next year or after 6 months. That really doesn't help. It's important for people to see you regularly,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you would engage with them. It's important to follow up with whom
Yeah.
you've met. And to be honest, I don't really believe in speed networking. I'd rather meet four people at an event, have meaningful conversations with them,
Yeah.
and follow up with emails and introduction. That has been far more effective than just handing out your business card to 100 people
To
at an
strangers. Yeah.
yeah, so that has really worked for me. And I have met uh, brides to be at these events, who've come to a boutique, had their dress made, and then referred their friend, and that
Yeah.
friend another, and so on and so forth. It gives a good opportunity to connect people as well, which is what I love to do. And that's been my experience in a nutshell with networking. It's really helped me as a person, meeting other entrepreneurs, professionals, so many ideas that you get that you can adapt into your business. It's been very enriching. So I'm a great believer in networking.
Thank you, Rebecca. I think that's actually a very good point that you brought, is about being consistent and follow up. I think that's a brilliant point. We will talk about it today as well. And you're absolutely right. If you are not regular, if you are not keeping track, there is no way that you can network successfully, because then it's just all over the place. There is no concentrated, thoughtful effort put into it.
Yes.
So I fully agree with you on that. Anybody else wants to share? All right, I will take that as a no. Shall we move on then? So let's go to the meat on the bone of today's presentation. Let's go to networking tips. The first and most important tip ever I have already shared. This is sincerity. Just be genuine, be yourself. Don't pretend to be someone else. Don't pretend to like things that you don't. People sense it, and it really will be a negative rather than a positive for you. So really keep it real, and that's my message for any networking you will ever do. Just be yourself. Second point is, again, active listening. And this one you have all heard about, but what does it really mean? So active listening is the key to any networking, because it allows you to merge ideas and to really brainstorm and advance in your thinking. I think some of us are better at that than others. Do you know those people that come to you to talk about something that they have on their mind? They're not directly asking for advice, but they are talking to and thinking out loud in a way. I'm sure somebody in the family or your friends, somebody like this, you know. And why they do that is exactly for this reason, that two heads is better than one. This is a saying we have in my language, and I believe it to be very true. To figure out something together is always easier because you add ideas together. And so active listening, it's a tip, but it is also the most important point here, because this is how you get value of networking, is by discussing, by connecting. To Rebecca's point, have a meaningful conversation, right? Don't just drop your card and disappear. That's not networking. But really have a meaningful conversation that allows you, but also your counterpart, to advance your thinking process. And this is why it's important also to connect to people that are relevant to you, because they will share the same interests and topics like you do. Now, the other point is do your homework. And again, this is trivial, it seems, but we do forget about it. Let's begin from the very start, right? Let's look professional. Let's make sure we have business cards. Let's make sure we arrive on time, business etiquette, all that. Yeah, we will talk about it further, but there are quite a few things to be mindful of in today's business. Ask to be introduced. So if it is possible, ask to be introduced. That makes for a better chance of you connecting with that person. Again, some of us are lucky, we already have a network. Some of us don't. So if you think you don't have a network, talk to your friends and family. You will find somebody who is either very good at networking or they know someone already. So talk to your family, talk to your friends. If you feel that you need more connections, that's a really great place to start. These people are interested in you, they like you, they will come and help you when you need it. Another point is body language. So this one is an interesting point that we will also discuss in a bit more detail, but it is conveying more than 90% of all information. Our tone of voice, our spaces between different phrases, the way that we look at the person, the way that we stand, it's all important. And in a way, this is why it's much easier to be sincere, because through body language, we communicate a lot and we're not always aware of it. I will give, of course, two very well-known tips on body language. One is good eye contact, and two is a firm handshake. Funnily enough, it's really making a huge difference, especially if you have a relatively short time with the person. It's really important. But we will speak more about body language in a few minutes. Another topic is respect. So I have worked with enormous number of different cultures. I have been covering US, I have been covering different European countries, different Asian countries, and Australia, pretty much all the world. What I found is that we all have something in common, and that point is respect. We want to be respected. So that is something that is really critical, and it is to remember. That is also cultural, right? We need to be aware of the culture of the people we're talking to. We need to respect them enough to show the interest in their culture. And we need to, of course, stay very polite and professional. And it's really something that makes a world of difference. You all heard those funny stories about person coming to an interview and meeting someone in the lobby and being rude to them, yeah? That is also a plot of a lot of movies, yeah? So don't be that person, because yes, one day you might end up in that situation when you were rude to somebody and then it came back on you. So really respect people around you, whether this is a receptionist or a CEO, it doesn't matter. They're all human, they only want one thing, respect. So moving on, icebreakers. So icebreakers are great. Now this is why you need to do homework, because in order to come up with a good icebreaker, you want to know at least a little bit about the person or recent events that can trigger an interesting conversation. I have some examples that I will show you as well, but this is really what, in my mind, the homework is for. Research the company that you are trying to approach, research the person you are trying to approach. Of course, not obsessively, please. I don't mean stalking, but please research a bit, right? Then you need to be ready with your elevator pitch. So you need to understand what it is that you are able to offer them, and it has to be communicated in just a few sentences. We will see some examples as well. And then Rebecca said it, follow up. Now, if you made a nice connection, but then you disappeared, doesn't work. So absolutely follow up, for sure. Even if it's a small thank you note, just saying, hey, I met you the other day at this event. Nice to meet you. Here are my contact details. Simple as that, but it still is better than nothing. Keep track. So again, it has to be systematic. You have to have a plan. You have to have a plan of the game. So you have to know where you are going, to which events, why you're going there, be prepared, keep the contacts in an organized way so that you can refer to them, and keep filling the new contacts into your sales pipeline. And we will speak about it later as well. Another point is reciprocity. So if you have enjoyed meeting someone and you heard that they would like to meet certain kind of person, be of help, volunteer to help. And honestly, it doesn't even matter if it's a favor to a person you are trying to get to know, or just to your friend. Do try to be reaching, this reciprocity thing, because in the end, we're all humans, and sometimes we are up and sometimes we're down. So building this together is important. And then pay attention. So this one, it's a bit tricky. You really need to remember something special about the person. It makes for a much better connection. If it is their birthday or something that you remembered that's about them, and you make a nice little gesture, it's really helping. I will show you examples as well. So let's dive maybe into the examples now. I know, before let's discuss do's and don'ts, right? So firstly, I already said, keep it real. Sincerity really goes a long way. When people feel that you're speaking from the heart, it makes them so much more open to you. And this vulnerability, ability to be sincere is really appreciated. Find common interests. Again, if you are going through LinkedIn, if you're going through networking event, there are some certain common topics. So show interest, real interest in something, and discuss it. You will learn a lot, and you will make a friend, hopefully. Yeah. Actively listen and ask questions. That's basics. Just don't monopolize the conversation. Try to make sure that the other person gets to speak as well, and ask them interesting questions. Research, I told you that. Just never come unprepared. It can be very embarrassing. Ask for introduction when possible, and then always return a favor. Yeah. So these are the do's. Now to the don'ts. Again, these are obvious. I'm sure they are obvious, but let's remember, never try to take over the conversation or jump into your elevator pitch right away, because then it would come out as pushing something on someone, pushing sales on somebody. That is not what you want. You really want a meaningful connection. Refrain from controversial jokes and topics. Here I mean like those topics that are generally sensitive, be that culture, religion, or even questionable personalities. Yeah, celebrities that have done something provocative maybe are not a good topic of discussion, right? So those kind of questionable topics, try to avoid unless you really know the person very well. I would not recommend. Try to keep it neutral. Exaggerated body language and invading somebody's personal space. So we're starting to talk again about body language. I will explain to you why it's so very important, but just be mindful. You know, don't stand too close, don't stand too far away, try to maintain the comfortable distance. Don't lean on someone in a very aggressive fashion. Try to, you know, keep yourself composed, calm, and interact in a natural way. Don't ever force the conversation. Rejection is hard, but it's also the reality of life of entrepreneur. We get rejected every day. Keep cool. If you see that the person is just not responding to your attempt to strike a conversation, just don't force it. It's not worth it. So just step away calmly and try another way. And never forget to follow up and return a favor. It really goes a long way. Yeah. So now let's go into some examples. So let's begin from the beginning. Do your homework, right? So did somebody research anything interesting before the session today? Somebody would try, so let's imagine that we're in a networking event. I would like somebody to volunteer to try and start the conversation with me.
Hi.
Hi.
Jaime. My
Yes.
name is Jaime. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Fine. I've been following you and your talks, and I'm very interested to know more about your experience and knowledge.
Thank you. What are you doing? What's your bread and butter?
I do a number of things, but the most interesting thing that I'm interested right now is our startups, which is to do with helping private schools by developing children emotional intelligence.
Oh, that's great. Emotional intelligence is a fantastic topic. This is something that we could connect on. I think in the modern world, we have all the information we want, and emotional intelligence is something that's a little bit more tricky these days. So great topic, actually. You would have gotten the context. Yeah. Good attempt.
Sorry?
Good attempt. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Now, thank you very much. Let's move to the next example. So, body language. Now, body language is a little passion of mine. Why is because it's so very important. I said it in the beginning, but studies show that 90% of the information is actually transferred through body language, not through the words that you say, but through gestures, through the tone of voice and your posture. So it's very important. Now, I am really interested in this topic, so I've done a few hours of research on it. And one that particularly caught my eye was a talk by Amy Cuddy. If you know her, great. If not, I will tell you. But basically, this lady, she has suffered severe brain damage as a kid. And she didn't even believe she would be able to go to university, but she became a professor. And she talks about importance of body language and how it makes a really big difference. Now, I will share an advice that she gives with you. And the advice is the following. Some of us are more shy and get a bit nervous in the networking situations. I'm sure that if I ask now around the group, we will find a couple of people like that. So what her suggestion is to strike a power pose for a couple of minutes before entering into the room. And a power pose would be something that makes you feel strong and powerful. An example that she gives is like this. It's, you know, like Wonder Woman. So these kind of poses, it can be even just a really confident smile at yourself in the mirror, just to put you in the good mood. It seems like a small tip, but it's really making a difference, especially if you do feel shy and you feel it's hard to approach other people. This is one of the ways out, is really to you know, fake it until you make it. So stand by yourself a little bit, get confident enough, stand in that pose, exuding confidence, and then go into the meeting. Helped me. I had that issue. I was once interviewing for a role inside my organization, and I knew that the future manager has asked about me, and I also knew that he got one negative comment, and I already knew he will ask me. So I was really thinking like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. How am I gonna do this? He is not gonna like me. I did that power pose for 5 minutes, went into the room, and when he asked me the question, I had a perfect answer for him, which was, you know what, my performance appraisal has been exceeds expectations for the past 2 years, and that's what you need to know, right? So yeah, it does help. It's a small thing, but it does help. Now, getting introduced. As I said, LinkedIn is a great way to do that. And of course, your family and friends. But let's think about LinkedIn for a moment, because as I said, 3 connections away is the person you really want, for sure. Maybe less than that, but at least 3 connections. So my recommendation for this is have a kind of pre-drafted short note to the person explaining why they would like to meet you. What is it that you can tell them or show them that is different? It can be a common topic. If you see, like for me, on my profile, for example, you would know that I'm interested in fine arts, right? So if you are interested as well, we could discuss an upcoming event, for example, right? But have a pre-drafted modifiable format at hand. So when you see somebody that you really would like to meet, you can send them a short note, and that note explains what you are about and why you would like to meet them. Okay? Icebreakers. So normally when we think icebreakers, we think jokes. That is great if you have sense of humor that is stellar, very good. It is sometimes tricky. It is sometimes culturally tricky. In certain countries, it will be more accepted, than others it will be less accepted. So it's a little risky. If you're absolutely certain of your ability, great. If not, then you will have to find another icebreaker. Another icebreaker can be a common topic. These days, I will give you one easily and you all will relate. It's Corona. Everybody talks about it. So if you want to say something about Corona, easy, everybody knows about it, everybody discusses it. It can also be a certain action. And actually action is a really cool way to break the ice. I had a marketing manager who worked under me. She was a nurse educator in her background, and she would start a conversation by an action. Before she would come on the stage, she would ask a volunteer to join her, and she would demonstrate how to save a person that is choking, for example. It takes 1 minute, 2 minutes, but the audience gets really interested in what's going on because they came for a presentation and here's a demonstration, right? They get very focused very fast, and that's a great way as well. So it's up to you. Find what works for you personally. I'm someone who likes jokes. However, today I didn't do a good job at ice breaking, I have to say, because I was so confused about my monitor that was not working. But yeah, be adaptable as well. So if you see that the icebreaker failed, well, try something else. Just stay polite with it, but try something else. Now, elevator pitch. So elevator pitch is, of course, very important. You need to have this prepared. What is that? It's a small speech explaining what you do, why you do it, and why it is of value. So here I wrote a small example, and that's from my end. Yeah. So has COVID impacted your business? Yes, it has. A lot of businesses, in particular healthcare, struggled with the new digital reality. We offer virtual reality events that are replacement to traditional educational activities. And recently we have conducted the very first virtual reality medical conference in the world with a demonstration of a live case of vascular surgery. So that's my elevator pitch, right? What I'm saying to people, I'm grabbing their attention by saying, hey, have you been impacted? The answer is definitely yes. Then I speak about something that is relevant for them, which is healthcare. We tend to do a lot of events to educate our surgeons and nurses about different products, because great knowledge they have, but specific knowledge to different disposables in the operating room, they don't. So this is where we come in handy. Now they cannot do that. So then my answer, my solution is virtual reality events, right? And that is the way that the sales pitch is structured, right? So keep in mind who you are talking to, grab their attention quickly, explain what you can help them with, and why you are different from everybody else. Like in my case, it's the statement that we have done the very first in the world virtual reality healthcare conference. So that's an example. Follow-up example. So recently this happened to me. I was talking to a CEO of one company, And we were having an interesting conversation during which he said that, oh, by the way, my team, my employees are struggling with chemical protection, because he was in a business where they had to deal with some chemicals. And I said, oh, you know what, I can help you with that, because I have worked in personal protective equipment for so long. I will definitely put you in touch with someone. He was like, yeah, sure. I walked out of the meeting. I called the sales manager for chemical PPE that I know. I gave him the number, said, look, please follow up. And the next day, I got a thank you note from that CEO saying, oh, by the way, the guy you sent, he called, we had a meeting this morning and my issue is fixed. Thank you very much. So, you know, it's also something about attention as well, right? So just paying attention in the conversation and really actively listening. So I heard that he had a problem and I tried to help him solve it. Did I earn money with that? No. It was my genuine effort to try and connect two people that should be connected, because they both want to help employees and protect them, right? If you don't have that perfect excuse for follow-up, no matter, you can always send a small thank you note, just, you know, briefly say, hi, I met you, very nice to meet you, and here are my contact details. Something very short and simple, but it's still better than no follow-up at all, yeah? Now, what I said before is one of the most important tips and tricks is pay attention. Any salesperson in the world will tell you this. Find out what it is that the person wants and try to help them genuinely. This is the best networking activity you can have. And if you have certain small things that you notice about the person, bear it in mind. Like in my case, I went to Taiwan and the distributor there, they asked me what kind of food I like, and I did say that I like dim sum. So next thing I know, I'm in Din Tai Fung, which is the first restaurant of Din Tai Fung in Taiwan, having a dinner, right? That's memorable. So the person really remembered what I like, and he made sure that, you know, he gave it to me. And we stay connected for many years after that, right? So it's the small things that you notice about the person and you just do it. It's maybe of little effort to you, but it may mean the world to someone. And this kind of small gifts, like I myself had this situation as well. One of my colleagues, we would meet occasionally. We are located in different countries. And I knew that his wife really likes dates, sukari dates. So when I would come and see him, I would always bring a small box for his wife. Small gesture, but she really liked it, so why not? With that, this is my tips. Now, what I would like to do is for you to think a little bit about your sales pitch. I'm saying here 10 minutes. We probably don't have a chance to complete it. But do think about it. The structure should be like we said, right? So think about who you are talking to and what do they care about and how can you help them. That's your sales pitch, really. It's just identifying the right type of person. What is it that you are able to bring to the table and formulating it in a short, concise way that grabs attention. So do that as a homework for yourself. If you have questions or if you want me to look over what you have come up with, feel free. I would gladly respond to any questions about it. With that, I wanted to say one last thing. And Rebecca, actually, thank you. You also made this point for me. Retention and word of mouth. It's always easier to work with your existing customers than it is to work with someone new. And the word of mouth is the best marketing engine that you can possibly have. And really, if you have satisfied customers that relay the message about your business to others, that is fantastic. So try to get there, yeah? Try to build this networking momentum by not only getting the customer, but keeping the customer, delivering on what you promised in your sales pitch, and making sure that they connect you to others like them. And that is gold, and nobody has ever had a better marketing than that. Now, questions?
How essential is to qualify the customer and his budgets?
Can you repeat again, please?
How essential is it to qualify the customer in terms of his budgets and expectations upfront?
I think this is normally what you would do to qualify is you would actually ask them the questions, and you will see by their reaction if they are really your right customer or not. With the homework, before you network, you will also do that. You will research a little bit. You will see signs whether or not they might be interested. I don't know if it answers your question perfectly, but it's basically the way that I see it. And again, it's just one girl's opinion, is that try to talk to the person and understand what they want. Just listen to them properly. They will tell you themselves what their problems are or not. So if you see that they're not your type of person, okay, at least you made a nice connection. But if they tell you what their problems are and you can actually solve them, that's the best recipe you have.
Sure.
But ask them, really. People like to tell about their situations, about their life. They will open up if you are open, and you will learn a lot.
Sure.
Anybody else? All right. On the screen, you have my contact details. So if you want me to look over your sales pitch, for example, or you have further questions, don't hesitate. I'll be happy to help. On this last note, what I would say is that you already made the first step in networking, which is you came to this, which is a class, one of the ways to network. So it would be nice if we could find a way to share the contact details and talk to each other and see if we have interesting things to share with each other. Okay, I will try to see the chat now if we have some questions for chat. Yeah, for takeaways, I see here actually some good stuff, good pointers. So for takeaways, guys, one of the most important things, be yourself, be sincere, do mind your body language, and really, yes, it's not easy for some of us. Try to relax, try to be appearing confident, look the person in the eye, shake their hand firmly, behave in a calm but confident manner. And of course, yes, word of mouth and attention to others. It's something that really works. Okay, with that, I thank you for your attention today. Great meeting you. And I see some of you started networking. They are contacting me on LinkedIn. Yes, thank you. Have a great day.